folks, my first guest tonight is the co-anchor of CBS This Morning. He's been reporting on Washington since 1995, and nobody's better at making sense of it. Please welcome John Dickerson. Hey, how you been?
I've been well.
Your summer's going, is opening before you like a blossom?
Well, it's almost half over. So
Shut
I
up.
hate to.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that. No one wants to think about that, John.
It's just one thing's happening after another.
You had your birthday on July 6th. You turned 50.
I turned 50, yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. You wear it well. You wear 50 well. And I didn't get the invitation to the party. What?
Well, it was you've thrown one for me tonight. It's so sweet. You got all these people here.
Welcome. Yeah. All right, let's talk about what's happening in the world right now. Okay, this Cohen audio that we knew that recordings existed. We didn't know if we'd ever be able to hear them. We've heard this recording. Giuliani says this is good for the president. In what world is it good for the president to be going along with a scheme to pay off his mistress or the people who own the story about his mistress? To be caught in a lie on that
Right,
level.
not in our world. And the lie is, here's the thing. You cannot say you don't know about something and then be on tape orchestrating the arrangement of the thing you previously said you didn't know about. That's not...
He's that good.
But that's what this is.
I agree. So
by the way, this is in September of 2016. This is an alleged relationship that took place 10 years ago. So I think people can make a case, whatever that case they want to make about things in the past. This is behavior right before an election, and then obviously things that were said as president about his knowledge about this. So it's quite a serious deal in terms of, we should still think that our president should tell us the truth about things, and when they don't, whether it's Bill Clinton or Donald Trump or anybody else, we should say that's a big deal. So it's not good, I should say.
Well, you are a journalist, you're a newsman, and you are admirably even-handed in your reporting things. But it seems to me like we no longer look to Donald Trump. No one really looks to Donald Trump to say, like, oh, well, I expect him to be truthful. We're grading lies on a scale. Whether this is a lie that is, oh, it's benign, it's not actually a crime, it's merely him lying about having an affair 10 years before, right after his child was born.
Right, and remember...
It's not betraying our country to a hostile foreign power.
Right, exactly, right.
That's the scale, the scale.
And also remember the scale that they changed for Bill Clinton. Because when Bill Clinton was caught lying, people said, look, he was just lying about an affair. People, of course, they do that all the time.
Sure.
It's not a big deal. But what people, I think, rightly said at the time was, we think about our presidency. It has always been founded around the idea of honesty. What we called him Honest Abe. The first story we tell about our first president, turns out it's apocryphal, but that's okay, is about George Washington cutting down the cherry tree and saying, I cannot tell a lie. The story's not true, but it tells us something about what we believe about our presidents, right?
So it's the first story of honesty is a lie.
Yes. But, right, it's quite true, but it tells us something about what we want to believe about our presidents.
Sure.
That we embed this in our first president and have ever since. Now, obviously, presidents have told lies here and there in a variety of different ways, and as you quite rightly point out, this is not about a national security untruth. But it is a big deal. We should still think it's a big deal when the president says something and it turns out not to be the case. And back to your original question, when you're heard on tape arranging this deal, that should be a problem.
Should?
Yeah.
Do you think it will be? Prognosticate. Do you think this will stick?
Yeah. No. Well, it depends what you mean by stick, right? So
Have
is the standard
effect
on
his support among his base? Because there's very little middle ground at this point, right? Is there middle ground? People are like, I'm not sure about him. I haven't made up my mind yet about Donald Trump. I need to know more. Do you meet these people? Like, not entirely sure. Trump, yeah.
Well, actually, I do think there are some people who are like that, who
Not
say,
sure.
well, who say, look, I don't like the way he behaves in reason X, Y, or Z, but I like lower regulations, I like lower taxes, I like the fact that he's gotten some progress on North Korea, I like the fact, so they go down the list and they say, well, not everybody's perfect.
Yeah, well, I think those people have made up their mind.
Oh, you think
they've done the calculus and they've gone, all right, A, B, and C are bad, but D, E, and F outweigh them, and therefore I have made up my judgment.
But then I think when I have conversations with them, they, in a moment of for example, after the press conference with Vladimir Putin, you can see and hear their balance reshifting, and they say, well, that was a performance that they didn't like for reasons X, Y, and Z, and it outweighs the other things they like: the Supreme Court, taxes, regulation.
Has there been a significant shift in support, or a measurable, not even significant, a measurable shift in support because of what has been widely described as the most disastrous meeting between the American president and a foreign leader in American history?
I think probably not a big one, but it is a little bit noticeable, and here's the only way I notice it. In the CBS poll, 86% of Republicans give him an approval rating, just overall.
Sure.
Then on the economy and North Korea, it's even higher than that.
Okay.
On this question of handling Putin, it's a 70. Now, 70 is still pretty good, right? But in our tribal times, where everybody is on your team no matter what, to be at 70 and not in the high 80s suggests there's some group of Republicans who think it wasn't and don't have confidence in his performance. So that's a pretty small little sliver, but it does show something that's different than in other instances where he'll
had an impact of some kind.
A little bit of an impact, but will it stick? No.
Now, Trump has now said yesterday, I think he tweeted that he is concerned about Russian meddling in our election because they're probably going to help the Democrats this time, and that would be shame. Where does he get that idea?
Well,
do you ask where that? I mean, it's possible. I'll start by saying entirely possible. That's the great danger here of calling it a witch hunt, is because if you don't investigate, then you're not prepared for whoever gets the benefit next time.
So I guess I would say a couple things. One, the facts. We know the facts. When you look at the Mueller indictment of the 12 Russian spies, the fact that struck me was, here you are, the Democrats are about to have their convention, and the Russian hacker gets on the phone with WikiLeaks and says, would you drop some stuff because we want to create a Sanders-Clinton fight? I mean, they were really right in the thick in the middle of the democratic process.
Sure.
Only Mayor Daley in 1968 caused more trouble at a convention. And since then, when Donald Trump says, well, the Democrats, might be the ones the Russians favor, he's trying to obviously change the subject, right? He wants somebody to have this conversation so they think, oh, well, it's equally plausible. You help a Republican, you help a Democrat. But you could imagine, and I think this might be where you're going, if Russia's goal is only to sow chaos and clot things up and make people go to have Democrats in control of the House, investigating the president, stopping his agenda fully, that would be glorious for many Democrats. They would believe that. But for the Russians who want to see chaos, that would probably be a result they might like better than a House of Republicans who are going to do just what Donald Trump says, which is would be a smoother situation for America. Now, the only other thing that goes against that point is that the Democrats would potentially have more sanctions against Russia if they were to be
that's what I was going to say, is that right now Putin gets everything he wants, and the Republicans merely lubricate the slope. The slippery slope. Get your mind out of the drugstore. Yeah. We've got to go here, but we found out just moments before the show started that Europe has agreed to lower industrial tariffs and import more U.S. soybeans and liquid natural gas. Did Donald Trump out-stupid the European Union?
Using their definition. Well, I think the critics would say, what he essentially did was he got in this big fight and then solved the fight and basically got them back to where they were before the fight took place. And so...
yes, I said a fire, but I also called the fire department.
That's exactly right. Right. Now that's what the critics would say. What the supporters of the president would say, look, this is what he does, and we've talked about this before. He throws a hand grenade in the room, everything blows up, and then he rushes in and can control the situation. And so, it's chaotic. Relations with the EU. Remember, he said the EU was his first answer when he was asked about foes of the United States. He said the EU, and that's an extraordinary thing for an American president to say. But his supporters would say, well, he now in negotiations has some leverage because he created this chaos. He got them to come to him, and even though the agreement itself is not that weighty, he nevertheless has new leverage in the negotiations. So those are the two ways.
So the leverage is he set fire to the House, and he's saying, I'm on the phone. I've dialed 9-1. You want that last one, you got to negotiate with me.
Maybe, or I think there might be another fire part of that metaphor, which is I might set it again with cars, right? So you know I can set fires, right? Because he's threatening.
What if I drove a car into this house?
Or a dirigible, just...
Sure. Well, thank you, John. CBS This Morning airs weekdays at 7 a.m. on CBS. John Dickerson, everybody.